tell you a little bit about Prologis and what we do, especially around smart buildings. We have a relationship with Wirepas we just mentioned it, in about 2.5 years. That's not that long. And we have an active working relation, say at least 2 years. So I was there at Wirepas GO 2 years ago. It was really fun. So unfortunately, we cannot be together now, but this works. Short introduction to Prologis, what Yusuf said. We're quite big in the logistic real estate sector. We have in about 4,600 buildings. End of last quarter, it was in about 125 billion assets under management. And we run that within about 1,700 employees. We have 5,500 customers, which is, for me, one of the most important numbers, because these are the people that we actually do things for. We rent out our buildings to customers like, for example, Amazon, DHL, these bigger companies. Our focus is on customers. Customer relationship is extremely important for us. And that's why we started to develop our smart building as well. I'm working in a part of Prologis, which is called Prologis Labs. I was so lucky to be able to set up that labs myself with a group of people. It's a global team. We have a dedicated warehouse in the States where we can do all kinds of stuff. What we're always saying, we can make and we can break stuff over there, which is really good, obviously, because we have just a protected area where we can test things out, which we think we can deploy in a later stage, potentially in one of our warehouses. We have been starting to develop something that we call Prologis Smart Building. It's still in POC phase. We haven't rolled it officially out. It is live in one warehouse, and hopefully in the future in multiple warehouses. And my vision is that this should be a new industry standard in the future. What does that consist of? That's actually 3 parts. It's what we call smart power and data. I will talk a little bit more about that later, but we have very big warehouses and we normally deliver them empty, no wiring, etc. On the IT side for our customers. And we believe that we can be beneficial for them in that area. Then we have Smart Building Core. These are the IoT devices. So we're going to make the building talk for our customers, and we're going to give our customers valuable insights about what's happening in the warehouses back. At least that's what we envision. And then we have the next thing that's what we call advanced smart building options. Is because we have this backbone and because we have delivered this standard smart warehouse, we can offer our customers in a very easy way additional features like Wi-Fi, private LTE, asset tracking, whatever. The infrastructure is there, so you do not have to stop operations for weeks in order to put something new in. And we believe that will be in the future very beneficial for our customers. So some problems that I'd like to mention, there are many problems that we'd like to solve for our customers, but think of these 3. Normally when we rent out a building, it will cost 90 days to be fully up and operational for our customers. If we have internet and the backend infrastructure already in for our customers, it will save them at least 30 days, which makes them 30 days faster operational, and every day operational is a win for the customer. Another example is water leakage. If a water leakage happens and we don't see it as a landlord, we'll have a lot of damage. So on average, there will be at least 80K of damage. Of course, you're insured for that, but it's better to actually prevent it. And the last thing is a lot of cabling is wasted every time we move buildings, in the sense that when a customer comes in and when a customer goes out, the cabling goes in and the cabling goes out. We think we can do that better in a more sustainable way. So we want it to be smarter and scalable with flexible technology for our customers. And this is what that means for us. So you have the left side and the right side. The left side is power and data infrastructure. Meaning that when you build a building, it's very it's the best opportunity to actually put in the smart wiring, meaning that it's not only the smart wiring, but we have power and internet at every column in our warehouse. And think of, at every column there is a switch, and every port in the switch can be dedicated for one of our customers. So meaning that we can have many virtual local area networks for our customers, protected and safe, so that our customer does not have to do it themselves. And when it's a multi-tenant building, normally, let's say 5 customers will all do it themselves. So what if we have the wiring, etc., in place? We can create these 5 different virtual environments for our customers, and they can be up and running very fast. We need that for ourselves as well, because we put in a lot of different sensors in the warehouse as well. From outdoor environments, so weather information, to indoor environment, and of course correlate these two. We monitor HVACs, the utilities and equipment, meaning that we want to know water leaks, temperature, vibration, all these kind of things, which we all want to correlate, obviously. We want to know the temperatures of the warehouse and humidity, because many times our customers have SLAs around this. And from a well-being perspective, we want to determine air quality as well, which is becoming more and more important in these warehouses. Employee well-being is a very big thing lately. It's very difficult to get the right personnel, the right people working at your warehouses. And if your warehouse is a more healthy place to live than your neighbors, then there's a bigger opportunity for people to actually work in that warehouse. And the last thing is the dock utilization. A dock in a warehouse is the heart and soul. Everything flows through and out of these docks. So we're actually putting a lot of sensors on these dock doors to determine different states and to actually give information back to our customers about how to utilize it, but also about preventive maintenance and everything what you can think of, like increased warehouse efficiency. Why is dock door 1 never used and dock door 5 always used, etc., etc. So we're actually aiming to learn a lot and to give a lot of these learnings back to our customer. So this is a very important question: how to wire a 100,000 square meter property? Because I can tell you, it's extremely expensive, and it's extremely difficult to wire this big property. Of course, when you have all the money in the world, it's easy, but you have to do it in a smart way. Otherwise, you have kilometers of wiring everywhere throughout the warehouse. It looks like a mess, it feels like a mess, and it does not work always. And you have many places of failures, single points of failures. After a long investigation, we determined that a mesh network will be the best solution here, especially when we're putting a lot of sensors in the warehouse, creating this mesh network, and we don't have the difficulty that when one of the sensors, one of the nodes break down, the whole network is down, or when one of the gateways is not working anymore, that we cannot extract the information from the warehouse. So in a very early stage, we determined that the mesh network is the best, and then a self-healing network is even better. And then we have also discussion about which frequencies to use, etc. So we actually concluded that Wirepas was the best partner for us in this. One of the very important things that we have as a standard requirement, is that data ownership stays in our hands, meaning that a lot of solutions, let's say vertical solutions, do not apply for us. We want to be as flexible as possible without any vendor lock-in. If you want to switch from sensor company, we theoretically would be able to do so in a very short term. And think of a big warehouse. If you put a lot of sensors in it, it's going to be very expensive. So we also had to take that in mind. And lastly, a warehouse is in about 14 meters high. The newer are even higher. So you have to be very conscious of the fact that you probably don't want to replace a lot of sensors during at least the first 5 hours, preferably not the first 10 years, preferably not 10 years. So as I said, one breaks down, that's fine. But after a long term or after a term, you have to replace them. So for us, it's very important to have a long life battery. And we're actually working with our partners for some sensors to actually get them wired. It's kind of funny if you have a mesh solution and wired, but for us, it does make sense. So then what we're trying to do is, this is the next step of how to help our customers. A lot of add-ons. So think of us as we're in that sense, the middleman, right? We deliver the warehouse to our customer, and the customer puts in the racks and everything to do their operations. We believe that a lot of our customers are moving more and more towards, for example, asset tracking. They want to track their assets. We, as Prologis, we cannot determine for them which asset tracking tool system they'd like to use. So what we're trying to do is be as agnostic as possible and to be able to deliver as much asset tracking solutions, or to facilitate as much asset tracking solutions as possible. So we can facilitate BLE-based asset tracking. We can do the Wirepas asset tracking. One of our vendors, Halcyon, has an asset tracking system, and so we have a lot of asset tracking that we could facilitate. And for us, that's really important: the flexibility to facilitate as much as possible. Same with voice picking, smart gate, traffic management. We want to be as open as possible. We want to have an open system as possible in order to deliver as much that fits our customers' need. So a little bit about Wirepas, how we're using Wirepas. So we have been working a long time to figuring out what Wirepas is, how Wirepas can be of use for us. And we concluded that there is a lot. Obviously, the ecosystem of Wirepas is growing, which is very important for us. But until now, not everything that we want can be supported by Wirepas. For us, that's fine, because we're still in POC mode and we're still figuring out which way to go and what to do. So in our warehouses, on average, we have 2 networks. We're now supporting Wirepas, or we're now using Wirepas as our core. But besides that, we're also using some LoRaWAN tools. Very interesting for us, because now in a real life warehouse, we can actually see the differences and feel the differences between the two. And that makes us, to learn a lot. There are, though, a few things that we would love to have on the Wirepas which are not there. So a growing ecosystem is for us extremely important. Think of, leak detection, and one of our partners is already working on it on Wirepas. We're using now LoRaWAN for outdoor weather information. Air quality is a really important one, which is not supported to full extent yet by one of the Wirepas vendors. There are air quality sensors, but we want to have a well-being certified air quality sensor, meaning that they have to comply to a lot of requirements from the well-being certification, which is not there yet. And for example, parking sensors. So at this moment, and hopefully with the new upcoming Wirepas, that will change. But for example, parking sensors, so things that are happening outside, we're using LoRaWAN now for that. But hopefully in the future we can use a Wirepas solution for that. What we're now using inside the warehouse through Wirepas is temperature, humidity, luminosity, vibration, presence. In the short future, we're going to do smart lighting. So as much as possible. We're working now. We decided to work with Halcyon for now in our warehouses. We have been experimenting with a universal gateway. so that we could put different vendors on one gateway, but we've quit for now because actually we determined that Haltyon is the way to go, and it's good enough for us, definitely good enough for us. So now we've equipped hundreds and hundreds of sensors in one warehouse, meaning that we're now extracting in about 700,000 data points in that specific warehouse per day. And we're now in the very interesting phase of making something viable, something useful out of all these data points. And we're starting to explore different kinds of correlations between the different data points so that we cannot give our customers the simple things back, like, hey, this dock door is open, or let's say the temperature is on average 20 degrees, but also the very not obvious things, like, let's make something up, like there's a correlation between the labor, the amount of labor available and lights that are used in the warehouse. I don't know, something like that. So we're hopefully going to give the customers actionable information which they've never thought of, and that will be extremely a big win for us. So we believe that smart buildings will optimize operations, and we as Prologis, it's not our operations, it's our customer operations, but we believe, being a landlord, that we have to make sure that we have to do whatever we can to optimize operations for our customers, meaning that what you can do as a landlord, what you actually should be thinking as, I feel that this is part of a building, then we as a landlord should be starting to facilitate that, so that our customers can focus on the inside, which they're extremely experienced in, obviously, but the collaboration between the customer and us will increase, and that will be beneficial for both of us. So let's finalize with that we're confident that the Wirepas ecosystem will enable us to deliver the right information to help our customer outperform. So it's all about the customer, and we hope as Prologis that our customer will see that, and that will be beneficial for both of us.